story is out of Washington, D.C. Reaction continues to pour in after Simone Biles and several other Olympic gymnasts testified before a United States Senate committee about the FBI's botched handling of the Larry Nassar sexual abuse case. FBI Director Christopher Wray also testified before the committee and apologized for the FBI's gross handling of the case. He said one of the agents responsible, Michael Langeman, was fired 2 weeks ago. Here's BNC's Ariane Maniz with more.
Lawmakers are still looking for answers in the sexual abuse case involving USA Gymnastics team Dr. Larry Nassar after the Justice Department failed to appear for a hearing on Capitol Hill.
As the lone competitor in the recent Tokyo Games who is a survivor of this horror, I can assure you that the impacts of this man's abuse are not ever over or forgotten.
Michaela Maroney, Allison Racin, Simone Biles, and Maggie Nichols detailed in their very emotional and heartbreaking testimony of how they felt ignored by the FBI after a DOJ Inspector General's review revealed the agency mishandled several sexual abuse complaints about Nassar, which dated back years. The FBI responded to the report back in July, saying the actions and inactions of the FBI employees described were inexcusable and a discredit to the organization. But Democratic Senator Blumenthal still wants more answers and accountability from the Bureau, as he called out the DOJ for failing to appear for questioning. Also, the attorney for the gymnast wants an independent special prosecutor to investigate the entire situation.
The Department of Justice today was a no-show. The Department of Justice failed to appear. They have responsibility, ultimately, for the FBI, for the prosecutions, and for action here. And Director Wray may have run out of adjectives, but the Department of Justice hasn't run out of action.
And I believe there are higher-ups at the Department of Justice and at the FBI that knew about it. I'd also like to hear from Mr. Comey. Mr. Comey owes these women an explanation. And there's clearly a culture at the FBI, which is one of the most important organizations in our country. It doesn't only investigate crimes, it's supposed to keep us safe from internal threats. Why should anybody trust the FBI right now? And it's important that Americans can trust the FBI.
The current director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, was present at the hearing where he apologized, saying that the Bureau failed to stop the monster. Wray referring to Nassar, who is currently serving a 40 to 175-year state prison sentence after 150 women and girls came forward saying that they were sexually abused under his care. In Washington, I'm Ariane Maniz for Making the Case.
Joining me now to discuss is Tonetta Thompson, a lawyer with the Office of Police Accountability and former San Francisco Assistant District Attorney. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
All right, so Larry Nassar abused hundreds of women. So why didn't the federal government prosecute him? And how did the FBI manage to botch an investigation on this scale?
They failed. They completely failed those hundreds of victims. They completely failed those victims, those 70 victims that were not even, when they failed to investigate in 2015, and it was only brought to their attention, or not even brought to their attention, when they were forced basically to bring that to their attention in 2016. They completely failed the system. And it is not about a reform that Director Wray said today. It is about accountability. And the FBI has to take accountability for what they did. They have completely failed. It's not for Simone Biles to keep bringing the pressure. It's for the FBI to take accountability. Those fired officers, the victims need to have civil lawsuits brought against them because they stepped outside. You have quality immunity up to a certain point. But when you fail to do your job, when you're willfully lying on documents, when you're dissuading witnesses, and committing criminal acts, when you're supposed to be protecting these individuals, when you are supposed to be a voice, when you are supposed to make sure that this doesn't happen to any more young women, then you have failed, and the FBI has totally failed in this.
Now, although this represented a massive failure on the part of the Bureau, the director, Christopher Wray, he acknowledged and apologized for the Bureau's mishandling of this case, which was pretty much unprecedented. But the Department of Justice was a no-show at the hearings and has yet to acknowledge their role in the mishandling of this investigation. Shouldn't they take note and follow the FBI's lead by taking responsibility for their failures as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The the DOJ has a direct responsibility to be accountable for their actions and for their failures as well. And to come and at these hearings and say, you know what, we have failed these women too. We have failed these young women, and it is up to us to make sure that we are accountable for what we are doing now. Is there a thorough investigation going on? What is going to happen with these FBI agents? It's not only Larry Nassar that has been punished for this already, but these former agents as well. I mean, is it enough that the retired officer, we are now paying him his pension, that us taxpayers are paying him? Is that enough? No, it's not, because he committed criminal acts during this investigation. The fired FBI agent, is that enough? No, these charges should be brought against these individuals as they were acting outside of the scope of their duty to these victims.
Now, the FBI failed as an institution, but the conduct of the individual officers was also egregious. Can the gymnasts bring civil suits against them, or are they precluded by the doctrine of qualified immunity?
I believe that they will be able to and should be allowed to bring lawsuits against these individual agents as these agents acted outside of their capacity and their role. They lied. They tried to dissuade them from coming forward with more evidence. They did not do their duties when investigating the case. So they absolutely should be. You only get qualified immunity, again, through a certain extent to where you are doing your job. But when you act outside of that, when you try to fix the investigation so that there is no investigation, so that there is nothing left for these victims to rely on, then yes, you have failed and you should be responsible in your own individual capacity as a citizen and not have the blanket coverage of qualified immunity.
Tonetta, the FBI Director Christopher Wray said now that the Bureau would be implementing new policies and procedures. Will this be enough, though, to address the systemic failures?
No, it will not be enough. There needs to be accountability within it. That means if there needs to be charges brought against their own agents, it's not enough of reform. Again, accountability needs to happen. It felt as though today, when we heard from Simone Biles, that she was feeling the pressure to carry the burden for these victims so that accountability can happen. But it has to shift. As soon as there is known victimization, the accountability shifted to the FBI and the Department of Justice to make sure that justice was served, and it was not. And so now it's up to the FBI to make sure that their agents are accountable for the failure of the prosecution in this case.
Now, you and I both know how the legal system abuses and discredits Black women and girls all the time. Can you speak to how the FBI's handling of this case reflects the undervaluing of women and girls when it comes to sexual violence?
Yes. How many little Black girls do we know were in those 70 victims from 2015 to 2016 that were again re-victimized by the FBI for their failures and their inequities in this investigation? It's always on. And again, Simone Biles, she was put at the forefront of this, took it upon herself to compete in the Olympics this past summer, just so she can keep the pressure on the FBI that this investigation is still going on, that I know what you all did. Again, the Black women and Black people are always carrying the burden in this country. And it's not, and the accountability needs to be held with the people who we are supposed to rely on for public safety, to protect and serve us. And yet it's always on the burden, especially Black women in this country, to carry that burden and to ensure that it goes out. When we have racial inequalities in our own jurisdictions, it's up to the Black women to solve racial inequities. And it's not, and that shouldn't be. As soon as there is known victimization, the entities that we so entrust with our own livelihoods and with our own safety should be there to make sure that this does not happen again, and that these little young Black women and Black children, are safe, and that this doesn't happen anymore. And I feel that Simone Biles carries this carries this pressure that should not be put on her, but it is all about the FBI carrying that pressure.
All right, Tonetta Thompson, former prosecutor and attorney with the Department of Police Accountability. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Next, we head to Aurora, Colorado, where the city's police department is under fire after the Attorney General's office found a pattern and practice of racial bias and excessive use of force within the department. We'll hear reaction from the community when we return.